Welcome back to FPL Spad, your best place to find FPL content for a 23-24 season. My name is Spad. Today, I'm sharing with you my transfer watch list for Gameweek 22. The deadline is still a week away, but I thought I'd get one earlier. A lot of transfers have happened as we had a long game week last game week around. If you like my content, please like and subscribe to my channel for future FPL content. Now let's get on with this transfer watch list for Gameweek 22. So for transfer watch list, game week 22, we're doing 32 instead of 30 because the last three were very close in transfers in. So I thought I'd include them as well to get a bit more perspective. I'm going to put them in the categories of these: must buys, great transfers, good transfers, transfers that are optional and lucrative, transfers that are gambles, and transfers that we certainly need to avoid for the coming game week ahead. So we start off from the very bottom of that list. And that list was started with Bowen as people started bringing him in, as he played last game week when no one thought he was going to be playing. Some people benched him, some people took a -4. A lot of different moves were made with him. Some people kept him, some people put him on bench. I had him on my pitch. I was just putting him on my pitch for fun. I was hoping Elliot would come on, but Bowen played, and he still only made 2 points as well. So Elliot would have been a better option, but it is what it is. I think Bowen is a good transfer. He has been red on hot form, but he's just coming back from injury as well. But he did play more or less the whole game. So I expect him to play the next game as well against Bournemouth at home. And I expect him to get some decent returns in that game, as he is the marksman for that West Ham team. Then we have Rashford. Now, in my opinion, Rashford is a gamble. Reason being, his form hasn't been great. Yes, in the last few games, he has produced some returns. But they've got all right games coming up, but Wolves away is not going to be an easy game in my opinion. Wolves have been very strong at home. So for that reason, he's a gamble. Probably want to see more from him before I even think about bringing him in any capacity. Next up, we have Martinelli. Now, he's definitely an option as he is a cheap Arsenal player at 7.7. And you do want to get as many choose the right Arsenal players who are going to scoring points. He got 2 goals coming off the bench and all 3 bonus points in the last game. And yeah, out of the blue, anyone who had him, loving it when he came on and got those 2 goals. But I don't expect him to carry on doing that. Nottingham Forest away is not going to be an easy game as well, in my opinion. So for me, optional transfer. Next up, we have Werner. And personally, I would avoid Werner. Yes, he's an ST though at 6.5. There's a lot of other great options for ST to go for instead of Werner, and his goal record ain't great from what it was at Chelsea. I saw him fluff chances already. Yes, he does get in great positions, run with the ball, great team player, but that's not going to get you FPL points. So for me, an avoid. Then we have Odegaard, and I'm going to put him in the optional category as well, and I'm going to put him below Martinelli at 8.5. He hasn't made that many returns this season at all. I don't understand why people are bringing him in. For me, just about all optional. Otherwise, could be easier and avoid, especially at 8.5. Then we have Højlund. Now, he's got 2 goals back-to-back. Maybe getting some form, but that's a sample over 2 game weeks. If you look at the sample of the whole season, it's no good. So for that reason, another gamble for me. You're gambling with United players, in my opinion. They just don't seem just there yet, So for me, a gamble. Now, Areola. Now, he's, in my opinion, now a gamble because of the last game. Because he came off, he got hurt when he gave away a penalty. So if people that had him, they avoided a -1 for letting a goal in the penalty for that. But he might not be starting. So for that reason, I know Bournemouth at home is a good game, but we don't know the extent of his injuries or how long he's going to be out for. So it's between avoid and gamble, and I'm going to say no point gambling with a keeper, so avoid. Next up, we have Gabriel. Now, Gabriel got a goal and an assist. Could easily been 2 goals for him, depending how they looked at it, and he got all 3 bonus points as well in that game. He does look like a threat in corners. just see Crystal Palace was an easy team to play against, in my opinion. A team with no truth, and was pretty easy to keep a clean sheet. And attacking wise, they did not defend at all good. And Forest will be, in my opinion, a bit better. But the games after that, they got hard games as well. And he might be injured, might be carrying a knock as well. For that reason, I'm going to put him in the gamble section, because I'd rather not bring him in if he might not even be fit enough to play. And we have seen Arteta rotate his centre backs, so that could easily happen. Then we have Saliba, his partner in crime, and I'm going to put him in the optional category as 5.6 million. Yes, he might keep clean sheets like he did the last game, but before that, also did not keep many clean sheets. And Forest away, I don't see them keeping a clean sheet in that game either, or the game after against Liverpool at home. So for that reason, just an option. Now Doherty, now I think he's a good transfer to bring in, as he's 4.5 million. Luton will have a double game week soon, so next game Brighton at home, they could get a result there, and he has been putting up numbers nearly every game week. So for that reason, he has to be a good transfer. If you keep returning for I think it's 5 or 6 game weeks now, yeah. For that reason, a good transfer. Double game week coming up for him as well. For that reason, yeah. And then we have Pedro as well. Now Pedro, I think he is a good transfer to bring in, as Mitoma is gone, so his minutes are more nailed on. He's an ST, a very cheap ST for 5.5 million. He could be a third choice striker if you don't fancy Solanke. If you think Bournemouth form is going to go for the downturn, but I wouldn't look into that much. They gave a good game against Liverpool. Like, they held a good account of themselves. I know 4-0 does not flatter them, but yeah, they had a good game. Just Solanke was on lock by Konate and Van Dijk. So Solanke could be your other option, but Pedro is another good option, especially at 5.5 million and a differential. Then we have Bernardo Silva. And I think Bernardo Silva is a great transfer, reason being his minutes are more or less nailed on. He plays most times, all 90 minutes, can easily produce assists and goals. So for that reason, at 6.5 million, a bargain of a player. For me, a great transfer, especially with the double game week coming up. So yeah. Then we have Alisson. I would avoid Alisson for now. We've got Chelsea at home, and they've got Arsenal away. Not the easiest games. After that, they've got a good run of fixtures before they play Man City. I think 4 or 5 fixtures they have before they play Man City. So for that reason, the next 2 games, I would not want him. Yes, he could easily keep a clean sheet against Chelsea, but the likelihood, not that much. So for that reason, avoid. Especially the price point as well, 5.7. Then we have Van Dijk. Another avoid for me at 6.3 million. Not a defender that I'll be looking to bring in, as attacking returns are not great from him. And yes, he might keep a clean sheet, with the have been keeping clean sheets in the past, but the games that are coming up now are much harder. So I don't think he'll keep clean sheets in those 2 games. After those 2 games, yes, but in those 2 games, I don't see him keeping clean sheets or getting any attacking returns. For that reason, avoid, especially at 6.3 million. Then we have Saka. Now we got to start looking at Saka as numbers from this year, because we have been having him in our team for a lot of while based on numbers from last year and the start of the season. And he just hasn't been performing, hasn't been putting numbers up. Yes, we were a bit unlucky that he didn't get an assist for one of Gabriel's goal that he scored. That became an assist instead. So at 9.1 million as well, it's quite expensive. So I'm going to put him in the optional category, and I'll put him at the top, because actually I'll put him below Martinelli, because at least Martinelli is showing a bit more form, but he's going more central. So when you play, I think, in my opinion, because he's fighting for his place with Trossard, he's more likely to try to get more goals on assist as he's fighting for his place. I think Saka might have got a bit, lost a bit of form, because he hasn't got any real competition on his side. So, on the right hand side. So for that reason, Martinelli is higher than Saka. Then we have Trippier. Now, if the reports are true of him moving to Bayern Munich, they have put a bid down. I don't think it's been accepted yet. He's in my team. I'll probably have to take him out. But if you don't have him and you look to bring him in, don't, as until the transfer window closes, I wouldn't be bringing Trippier in at all, because if you're bringing him in, then they might be taking him out. So for that reason, certainly avoid him. And then we have Haaland. Now, Haaland is a gamble. There was news today that he trained first time in a while, and he trained without feeling any pain. So for that reason, he could easily start that Burnley game. But it's best to wait after they play Spurs in the FA Cup to get more of a feel about where he's at in fitness-wise as well, because he's nearly been out for more than a month. Probably come up to about 6-7 weeks now before he plays the next game. So for that reason, he's in the gamble category until we get more news. Then we have Watkins. Now, he hasn't been performing either in the recent game weeks, but Newcastle are home, with how Newcastle are playing recently, and Trippier might be going, so there's a bit of turmoil. Almond might be going as well to Saudi Arabia, so for that reason, he still might be a good transfer to bring in. 8.9 is quite expensive for someone who hasn't returned in a while. For that reason, I have to put him at the bottom of the good transfer list. But yeah, he's even close to being optional, really, because I think you can probably get away without having him. But he can easily pull out a hat-trick or 2 goals in a game out of nowhere, because he does possess qualities to finish goals. I don't think that Villa have been creating enough chances for him, personal opinion. Then we have Nunes. Now, I think Nunes is a great transfer until Salah's out, and the news of Salah not being back for a while now. You'll probably get a lot more minute times compared to when Salah was there, because less people are fighting for the position. And for that reason, I'm going to put him ahead of Bernardo Silva, as Nunes causes chaos, always makes something happen. Got bonus points last game week as well. He could have got all 3 bonus points if he didn't get a yellow card right at the end. So, yeah. He does have the tendency to get a yellow quite easily for things that he could easily avoid getting it for. So, that's one bad thing about him. But until Salah's out, I expect Nunes to be playing a major part in this Liverpool team, especially to next 2 games coming up ahead. Then we have Solanke. Now, I think Solanke, for now, is a good transfer because they got West Ham away, and it's not going to be an easy game, especially after they play Liverpool at home, in which they lost. But I see West Ham being playing a bit more counter-attacking as well, so it could be a hard game for him. So for that reason, I'm going to put him a good transfer this week, and I'm going to put him below Bowen. Yeah, I'm going to put him below Bowen. Now, then we have Walker. Now, I think Walker is a great transfer to have in your team, as he is not that cheap, but a good replacement for maybe Trippier, Trent, who probably won't be... Trent should be back, but Walker for Trippier if you've got Trippier in your team, because Man City do have a lot of easy games coming up and a double game week coming up, so it could be very useful for you if you need to do a defensive transfer at the moment. And then we have Alvarez. Now, I'm going to put Alvarez in the good transfer category. He has been returning to some a bit form, but maybe he's waiting for Haaland to come back, and then we don't know if he's going to even be starting, especially with De Bruyne back as well. So for that reason, he has to be a good transfer. I know Burnley's at home is a very attractive game for having Man City players, so we should really find on these really Haaland and what Pep will be doing De Bruyne. So it's best to wait after the FA Cup game for Spurs. But in general, I think he's a good transfer, and I'm going to put him below Solanke. At 7 million, more or less same price range as Solanke. You know what? I'm going to put him above Solanke, as they got the easier game. Next up, we have Foden. Now, I'm going to put Foden in the good transfer list, as with De Bruyne coming back, I think his place might be at risk as well. So, and I'm going to put him below. Actually, I'm going to put him above Solanke because it's an easier game against Burnley. We don't know if Haaland's going to be back yet. And if he's not back, then I expect Foden to play, De Bruyne to play maybe. I expect De Bruyne to actually start that game, but we get on to him later. Next up, we have Richarlison. Now, I think Richarlison is a great player to bring in at 7 million. If you got him in earlier, when he was cheaper, great for you. But still, at 7 million, Brentford at home, and decent run of fixtures, playing as an ST, but classed as a midfielder. I don't like. It's easy choice to make. Has a good run of form recently, and the way Tottenham play, very attacking, crosses coming in from Porro. He can easily get headed goals and other goals as well with his feet. So, for that reason, he is a great transfer. And you know what? He's better than Walker, for my opinion. But he's not above Burnley, Bernardo Silva. Reason being, Burnley at home is a much easier game for Brentford. And for Tottenham, they're playing Brentford, so it's a bit harder. Next up, we have Gordon. Now, he got a return in the last game. Kind of weird celebration he did. Like, people were doubting him, like that type of celebration. He has great qualities, but with all this transfer news going around at Newcastle at the moment, is he a player to bring in? I think, yeah, because at 6.1 million, he is still a very great bargain. And Villa away is a hard game. So, and defensively, Villa have been solid at home. They have got like unbeaten streak of like 15 or 16 games now. So, for that reason, I'm going to put him in the optional category. And I'm going to put him below Martinelli. Actually, above Martinelli because he's cheaper. So, for this game week, he's optional. I don't think you need to be bringing him in, Gordon, this game week. Same as Isak. Like, I don't think you need to bring him in this game week. Maybe later on when things settle down at Newcastle in the transfer department. So, for that, I'm going to put him above Martinelli. Actually, below Martinelli. Below Martinelli. At 7.6 million. And he's SG. Less, like, when he scores a goal, he's only going to get 4 points. And next up, we have the Spinnian. Now, he kept a clean sheet. Didn't get many attacking returns as the last game. He came off early on the 70th minute and only got 2 bonus points. But if he had stayed on the whole 90 minutes, I think he would have got all the bonus points. So 1 point lost. But it was a very cagey game. Brighton did have a lot more possession. Playing Luton away, I'd expect Luton to... I don't know how Luton will play this game. Because normally they play defensive against the bigger teams. But Brighton is like in between a big team and a normal team. So we're not sure exactly how Brighton will play. But one thing we know, he does take corners, does get quite forward up. For that reason, he's a great transfer, and I'm going to put him above Walker, as he's got much better chance of getting attack returns than Walker. And then we have Jota. Now, he's an enigma for me, really. Like, people that bought him in last game week must have been loving it. People did bring him in because I think his price did go up last game week before the transfer deadline ended, and those people must be loving it. I had one person in my mini league, had him captain, 19 points. Madman. I think he's a good transfer until Salah's back, because until we get more news on Salah when he returns back to Liverpool and we get a better insight into his injury from the Liverpool doctors. So he's going to be starting from what we see, but there's always a chance of rotation. That is Liverpool. We have a lot of attacking options available to us, and I'm going to put him below Richarlison because of his price, 7.8 million. Chelsea at home is not an easy game compared to their game and Brentford at home, So, yeah. Then we have Pedro Porro. Now, I don't have him at 5.8 million. His price has gone up. People bought him in early. I doubted him and I didn't bring him in. Now he is, for me, in between a must-buy and a great transfer. Reason being is because until Manchester comes back, a lot of the chances created for Tottenham come through Porro. He takes both-sided corner from both sides, takes their free kicks, creates a lot of attacking opportunities, which rates him bonus points. So even if he does nothing in the game, he still ends up with the high bonus points, 2 or 3. And if he gets an assist, that's an assist, no clean sheet, 5 points, and then 3 points for the bonus, 8 points. So he is basically what Trippier was doing at the start of the season, and Trippier was at a much higher price as well. Even now, like even the price going up. So for that reason, I'm gonna put Porro as a must transfer in, must buy, and I might be looking to bring him in myself for replacement for Trippier until I get more knowledge. I don't see his price going up. I'm gonna check later, but I don't see his price going up or down until now because a lot of people that wanted him already have him in the team. Now next up we have Tony. Now I wanted to bring him in last game week and make him my captain. In the end, Saka was my captain, and he only got 3 points. Tony got 8 points, but still better than 3 points. A lot of people captain Palmer instead. That would be my best option to do, but I still should have put in Tony in, personal opinion. But bringing him now is kind of a gamble because the games they've got coming up. Tottenham away, Brentford at home. I think they got Liverpool at home as well in that time. But Man City away again. So the fixture lists are quite hard. But if he wants to push into the England team, he has to hit the ground running. He did hit the ground running in the last game, got a goal, a cheeky goal, may I add, by moving the ball. But that's all good. I was happy with that. So I'm going to put Tony in the gamble situation. And I'm going to put him above Haaland. Yeah. Because, you know what? I'm putting more faith into Tony. I think Tony is a good transfer to bring in. Not great because of the fixture list, but good. Because I think he'll get a goal in every single one of these games coming up. Yeah. He's ready to go. And yeah. I'm gonna put him just below Foden. Above Solanke because I think even though Tony's got a harder game against Tottenham away, Tottenham do leak in goals. So, and they do have giveaway penalties as well. So Tony will be taking penalties as well. For that reason, Tony is a good transfer. And then we have Palmer, a player that I bought in late, but I bought him in anyway. This game week, maybe not a must buy against Liverpool. So he's still a great transfer to bring in. And I'm going to put him still at 5.8 million above all of them because he's so cheap and he's getting returns. Focal point of Chelsea's attack. If you already have him, that's great on you. If you got him cheaper, perfect. But yeah, a great transfer to bring in. Now next up, the final one, the main man that's been back, who's gone up in price, 0.3 since last game week, basically. Because he was 10.2. One of my mates bought him in last game week before at 10.2. Got 12 points from him coming off the bench. And personally, in my opinion, I think he's going to be starting the Burnley game as Pep will see as a less physical game, as Burnley is not the Burnley of years where they were rough and tough. He will get time on the ball to do his thing. For that reason, I think he might be now a must-buy in your team, especially if you're losing faith in Saka. You look to replace Salah if you're still holding Salah, thinking he might be back early, but with the injury doubt, you think you want to replace him. De Bruyne is your man to do it with. So that is it, bro, guys. That is my transfer watch list for game week 22. We do have more or less players in nearly every single category, a decent amount, not too much in one. Probably good transfers, because from the good transfers, really, this game week, I'll be looking to have Bowen, definitely, Alvarez, Tony. Tony's like, if you're a gambling man, And Solanke, not this game week, but still a good transfer if you're playing a wild card. Joti, good transfer for if you're looking to build up on your double game weeks in the future. If you've got another transfer to make, great transfer. But the great transfers, Palmer, Nunez, Bernardo Silva, Richarlison, Jota, Spinian, and Walker. I think they are great transfers to do in. And I think most of these players will get you a return in the next game week. Palmer might struggle against Liverpool, but they can easily get a goal in that game. Especially, they might even get a penalty given away by the young kid Bradley. If he plays, we're not 100% sure if he's going to be playing, because Trent might be back for that game. Because the news that we got, that Trent might be back for the FA Cup game. So, we just don't know yet. But he's on penalties and takes free kicks. But you're not going to beat Alisson in free kicks. Let's be real. Penalties is his best option to get a goal. And from open play, maybe. But yeah, these great transfers are the ones to bring in. And the must transfers, must buys, I think those two are priority buys right now for anyone in FPL. If you want to move up the ranks and stay up with the ranks. I have been falling down the ranks for the last few weeks. I am now down to nearly 680k. And I am looking to bounce back up, hopefully, with a bang. Because that's all we can do right now. Bounce back up, make the right choices, and hopefully they pay off. So that's it for my transfer watch list for Game Week 22. I hope you enjoyed and found it interesting and got some tips on it for your transfers to do in the coming game week ahead. The deadline is still more than a week away. If I were you, I'll hold off until the FA Cup games are over with, as anything can happen in those games with injuries. So hold off on that. But if you like my content, please like and subscribe to my channel for future FPL content. Please share with your friends and family. Help me grow. Thank you guys again for watching me. I'll see you again next time. See ya!